Welcome to the Quick Start webinar, everybody. Coach Noah Harris here. Hope y'all are having an amazing Thursday. Hope you had a great week. Yeah, go ahead, say hi, say where you're from. Are we celebrating any wins since the last time that we talked? What's a real estate win look like? Well, maybe it's getting a property under contract. Maybe it's hearing no and making five offers and hearing no. Maybe it's making 10 offers and hearing no, right? Every no, you're a little bit closer. Maybe you closed on a deal. That'd be awesome. Maybe you had a good connection in private money club with a new lender. Maybe you had a new connection with a new borrower if you're on this call and you're a lender. So I'd love to hear it. Type in the chat box where your wins are at. Maybe your win is just finding the Quick Start webinar. Maybe that's your win. You're like, you know what? This is my win. Hopping on this, making time, investing in my most valuable asset, which is my time, to be learning more about how to use people instead of banks to fund my real estate deals, which is super cool. What's up, Joseph? All right, so yeah, Joseph is part of the Private Money Club. Joseph is part of what they call the success team. So any questions that you have in regards to the Private Money Club, what it is, how to become a member, any type of classes, any type of enrollments or knowledge around PMC as we call it, Joseph is here for you. If you have any questions in regards to Private Money Club, funding deals, and anything that I talk about, feel free to ask me, right? So we're a team here. Joseph's my co-pilot. Mark has a question here. Are you having a class next month or January? It's actually going to be January 5th is the next my course, which is called the Accelerator class, Mark. January 5th, we're going to get started. Yeah, absolutely. So November, December, man, this month is flying by. Flying by. What's up, everybody? Hey, Dale. What's up, Craig? Linda is here. You know what's crazy, Linda? I just spoke with someone from Houston yesterday that is in Private Money Club. Linda, are you a borrower or a lender? I'm curious. Are you a borrower or a lender? Do you know yet? All right, cool. Borrower. Awesome. Awesome. Linda, what's your criteria? Do you have a criteria? Do you have a buy box? Like, what types of real estate do you see yourself investing in? Like, if you were sitting down with a lender and you had 30 seconds to say, "Hey, this is my business model," what would you tell them? What would you tell them? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, so hopefully you're not like driving or anything. Um, but again, this is why I guess I'm being a good coach. This is why we hop on these calls. This is why we practice, right? Let us know in the chat box, okay? What's up, Greg? So something fun. So if you're just logging on for the first time, we do this call every single Thursday at 1 o'clock, and I keep repeating that because we are having more and more people log on. We're usually around 100. So I thought I'd share something cool with you. I'm always trying to get better as a borrower, and I'm always trying to help lenders get better and improve. And one of the things that I talked about in Orlando a couple of weeks ago was curating the experience. Do you guys remember that? Was anyone on the call or virtual or attended in person, and you heard me say the words curating the experience? Right? So inside of Private Money Club, outside of Private Money Club, however you find your lender borrower relationships, right? However you meet your people, I'm a big believer that a person doesn't have to have hundreds of people on their list to work with, right? As in my business, in my real estate investing business, my wife and I, we're super happy. We do 10 to 15 flips a year, pick up a couple additional rental properties, multifamilies or doors or whatever. Then that's a win for us, right? We're not like trying to take over the world. That's good for us. So in our business, we typically need about 5 or 6 people that we can work with over and over and over and over again. So even though for the last, I don't know, 15 years or whatever, I might have 3 dozen different people that I've worked with, it kind of gets shrunken down to your favorites, right? Is this making sense so far? Like, so keep this in mind, like as you start building relationships and setting your goals for 2026, right? So if Linda's on here and she's a borrower, and Linda's goal is, hey, I'm in Houston and I want to buy houses for 250 grand. I want to put 50 into them, and a $300,000 asset's going to be worth 450,000 when it's all said and done. That's my business model. And I might ask someone like Linda, okay, Linda, well, how many deals do you see yourself doing next year? What's your goal? And she might say, Noah, I would love to do 4 additional flips. That would replace my income, help supplement my retirement, take care of some other stuff. That's my mojo right there. That's what I want to get done. Four flips. I need about 300 a pop in order to make that happen. I'm going to say, great, you need $1.2 million. So over the next 6 months, let's work together to find relationships with people who the amounts equal what you need to do those flips, right? And she might only need four people, right? As an example, right? And so that's really not that many. So I find it funny sometimes how some people have to like continually look for new lenders when people that they've worked with have always been there. And so what I'm getting at here is this, right? Curating the experience, like the Ritz-Carlton private money lending or borrowing. As a borrower, what are you doing in your company that helps lenders want to come back over and over and over and work with you? What separates you from somebody else, right? And this business, private lending, it's relationship based, right, Joseph? It's relationship based, right? Greg says, I'm looking for a friend with money, right? Yeah. Hey, sometimes you just got to go out there and make friends, right, Greg? You just got to go out there and make friends. And on the flip side, lenders, is there anything that you're doing that helps you stand out amongst the crowd? Is there anything that you're doing that's like, man, I really enjoyed that? Now, a lot of what I do in my real estate investing business when it comes to my lenders and borrowers, I copy a lot of what the banks do. And I copy or what the banks want. And I copy what hard money lending companies want. You know, just because you're working with a person and not an institution or a fund, a hard money fund or something like that, doesn't mean that you don't provide a mortgage. You don't provide, a balance sheet. You don't provide, signed promissory notes and insurance and all of these things and personal guarantees and all of these things. So a lot of the same things that hard money lending companies do. If you want to be great at borrowing, I would provide the same documents to my private money lenders. And if you want to be great at lending, a lot of the same things that the hard money lending companies do in regards to their underwriting process, you can copy that to help, create success that they're having, right? That's what we're trying to do anyways, right? But anyway, one of the things, I just refinanced the property. So we bought this property, we used a private money lender, paid two people on the deal. One was 10%, one was 12%, just took just under 6 months. Anyways, it was successful. We refinanced with a hard money lending company that one of my friend Joey works at. And I just got a package in the mail. I thought this was really cool. I'm going to share this on the Quickstart webinar because I would love it if my lenders did this. And back in the day, and this is something that I've kind of got away from, when as a borrower, I would actually do really nice things and send swag and stuff like that to my lenders, so that it kind of separated me from some of the borrowers that they might be speaking with. So I got this cool hat. So the name of the company was CV3 Civic Financial. Shout out to Joey Zamboni over there. Got this cool little hat. Came in this nice gift box. I got this little Yeti mug here, and then I got this like a coin. It was the first time I've done business with this company, and I got this little coin with like their core values on it, and that's hanging up in my office. I think that's pretty cool. So my challenge to you is, what could you do in your business that helps separate you from everybody else, right? Maybe when you do a new deal with someone, you send them some swag with your company or maybe their company logo on it, right? Just thinking of ideas, right? We call that curating the experience, right? Curating the experience. Yeah, you got to deliver on every promise and communicate. That's absolutely true. Every single time that I teach a class, a Zoom call, or in person, or even if I'm at the kitchen table or at a Starbucks and I'm talking to one of my lenders, I'm talking to a student, talking to anyone that's on these webinars as an attendee, it's my job to make sure that you know that this business is risky. It's my job to make sure that I make it my mission, right? Like, don't lend money that you're not willing to lose. And I say that because a lot of people get into this business and they don't take the first step. The first step is learning, right? Learning as much as you can, as fast as you can. If you enjoy learning around the topic of real estate investing, around lending, then maybe this is the right vehicle for you. Maybe being a lender and making a nice double-digit rate of return secured by real estate that's worth much more is for you. It's not going to be for everybody, right? So just know this, that whatever you do, whatever you decide to put your money to have it grow, learn as much as you can about it. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor or real estate agent or attorney. I teach from the perspective of a real estate investor that uses people, not banks, to fund their real estate deals, right? And we've been doing this almost exclusively for a very long time, darn near exclusively with our short-term stuff, right? 12 months or less, been using people instead of banks or hard money lending companies to fund our real estate deals. So I know I teach a lot from case studies. I share with you what's going on in my life, as I just did, right? Just know that that's my story, right? Real estate, every piece of real estate is different. Every real estate deal is different. So just because I say, hey, this is what I did, just know that you got to get out there and get the education and surround yourself with licensed business professionals. I teach a class for Private Money Club, and it's called the Accelerator Program. The very first thing that I teach in the Accelerator Program is to go out and find a real estate attorney, to go out and find the title company that you're going to be working with, to go out and narrow down who your contractors are going to be, who your real estate agents are going to be, who your home inspectors are going to be. We're only as good as the people that we surround ourselves with, right? So we talk a lot about this, and that's really the first step. So if you haven't, I love teaching about this. I love teaching about how to connect with people and build your team, and maybe we can hit that topic next week. But just know that that's got to be one of the very first things that a person does before they dive into this business. If we're just meeting for the first time, I use Revive Homes LLC a lot in my case studies. That's my house flipping company. It's been around for a little bit. We're out of Columbia, South Carolina. My goal is the same goal that I have in my business is for everybody that's on this call, and that's to help create a 100% track record, which is just what Craig said. Craig said, "Hey, we're gonna do what we say we're gonna do, right, Craig? Right? That's how you do it. And if you're just starting out in this business, two things: education. We just talked about the importance of that. Number two, your team. We just talked about the importance of that. So if you're brand new and you're like, man, no, I don't have a track record. I don't know who's going to lend me money. Then you got to take the time to find a good real estate attorney. You got to take the time to find the good real estate agent, the contractor, the people that have good track records. And you can ride their coattails a little bit, right? And say, hey, look, I might be brand new to this business. However, my team's been doing real estate for over, 100 years combined experience or whatever, right? So this is relationship based, right? This is relationship based. And we place a high value on it. You want to get great at borrowing money, place a high value on your lenders. If you want to be great at lending money, then I'm going to tell you right now, place a high value on your borrowers, right? And if you can take the time to figure out, hey, how can we create those win-win relationships, we're going to be doing okay. Great question. What do you think? How committed are you, Mark? How committed are you? How about today? What we do? Well, how about we skip Thanksgiving? But let's do this. How about today we practice elevator pitches so that if by chance anyone is going to be hanging out with a family member next week that would make a great private money lender, you're extra sharp for that conversation. Would you guys like that? Would you guys Should we do elevator pitches today? Is there anyone on the call who has a family member that would make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? Huh? What do you think? Is there anybody? Anybody? Okay, possibly. All right, Matthew. All right, I like it. I like it. Yeah, and what's cool about this, and answer. Well, let's do this. Answer the question in the chat box for me. What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? Let's talk about this because we do have a lot of new people on, so I want to make sure that the context is correct here. What do you think of? Not a bank, Marie says. All right, cool. Yeah, flexibility. Okay, cool. Absolutely. Absolutely. Both of those things. Really not person, it's a person and an individual, right? Relationship based. Good, good, good. Yeah, so just so you know, like if we Google private lender, lots of times it's going to come up in the Google search results that a hard money fund, a bank, some sort of institution, right? And people pooled their money, and then there's people that are responsible for putting it out there and getting it to work, right? And because it's not necessarily a traditional bank like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and things, having certain boxes that they need to check because they sell their loans and things like this, they get considered to fall into like the private lender bucket. But in on this call, inside of Private Money Club, when we say private lender, we're talking about a person. Okay, we're talking about a person. We're talking about people. And what's interesting is, it's really about the win-win, and it's I see some people saying like Craig said, higher rates possibly, right? Maybe a higher interest rate, right? But the flexibility really stands out, like Anna said, right? Lots of times as real estate investors, like we went and looked at a house yesterday, my wife did, and had a lot of foundation issues. But we like that stuff because we know that for X amount, we can go in there, secure it like a fortress, make it better than it ever was, and now we've got a great property, and we all we got to do is make sure we calculate in our offer the amount of cost it's going to take to make those changes, right? But if we were to go to a bank, they're probably not going to finance a house that has significant foundation issues, right? But if we go to a person and we say, hey, here's our plan, here's the scope of work, here's what we're doing, here's how much it costs, your loan would be here, the value of the asset would be here. We're going to do a promissory note, a mortgage, personal guarantee, list you on the insurance, and our attorneys will help you all the way through this. That to me is like, wow, okay, that's a deal, right? But we can't always do that by going the traditional route. So these are people, right? These are people, everyday people. And what's cool is maybe today, after today, if you're just learning about this for the first time, everywhere that you go, you might now start to see private lenders. If you truly believe, right, Linda, if you truly believe that you are a great operator, you're a great real estate investor, and you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that you get the projects from A to Z and get the lenders their money back. If you truly believe that, and your properties are good deals, and the opportunities to lend you money are secured by real estate that's worth more than those loan amounts. Our thought process should be that, man, you know what? People should be lined up around the block excited to work with us, right? That's the mentality. I'm never worried about money when I put a property under contract because my mentality is, I should have people lined up to fund this deal. Where else can a person make a nice double digit rate of return having it secured by real estate that's worth much more, right? They don't offer that at the bank, right? So let's do this. Let me show you how simple it is. How simple it can be. Because it's all about finding the right people is one thing, but it's really about finding the right place. All right, I'll say that again. Finding the right people is a lot more difficult than finding the right place. If I went outside right now and I went door to door knocking on all of my neighbors' doors and I said, "Hey, how would you like to make a nice double-digit rate of return and having it secured by real estate that's worth much more?" I might have 99% of the doors slammed in my face. They're gonna be like, "What is this guy trying to sell me?" But if I come on a webinar like this, or if I go to Private Money Club, the platform, and I say, "Hey, I've got a deal. How many of you want to make a nice double digit rate of return secured by real estate that's worth much more with someone that's got a 100% track record and paying back their lenders? What do you guys think?" It's going to be like, sign me up. It's going to be a complete opposite reaction because it's not so much about the people, it's about the place. Where am I doing my fishing? Right? Where am I looking for opportunities? Right? So keep that in mind. This is a people business, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll pull it up live, and I've got a good little case study here that we can cover and do. But it is about finding your people. Boy, I love this picture. I love that some people that are in these pictures are actually on this call right now. Shout out to those of you who know who you are. I won't call you out. I feel like I do that enough on all the other webinars. So it's good to see some familiar names and some familiar faces here. But Christy Duckett, that's my wife. My wife is always just saying, hey, you got to find your people, man. You got to find your people. So let's get into it. Is there anyone on the call right now? Let's do that. Actually, let's do this. This is Joseph. I almost skipped our favorite part. If you are on the call right now, let's do a little roll call, have a little fun, get your fingers warmed up, and you love the idea of putting money to work and having it secured by real estate that's worth much more. I'm just gonna put the I'm just gonna call you a lender. Is that if that's anyone on the call right now, type lender in the chat box. Just say lender in the chat box. I love the idea of a nice double digit rate of return secured by real estate that's worth much more. Boom. Anna's out. Anna, David, Nathan. All right. Hey, David's on here. Mark. All right. You're my people. You're my people. Right. So they do exist. They do exist. I love it. If you are on the call right now and you have deals and you're a real estate investor and you love the idea of working with a person, just like someone said earlier, man, I wouldn't mind paying a couple more points if it was to a person and not necessarily a bank. Type borrower in the chat box. All right. Tanya says, I'm here. All right, cool. Yeah. All right. There we go. There's some really good borrowers on this call, and some really nice lenders on this call too. Good. I mean, I'm talking about good people, people that I've gotten to know on a more personal level. So the people that are coming in, right? So now it's funny because if well, let me just show you. I'm gonna show you what to do. How many of you have a deal right now? Does anybody have a deal right now that needs funding? Anybody have a deal? Craig does. Alfred, Craig and Greg. Okay, cool. Now, Craig and Greg, are you guys in Private Money Club yet? Terry, are you in Private Money Club yet? Not yet. Craig is. Craig, is your deal posted? Do you have your profile up? Kenny's name seems very familiar. All right, I feel like we've met before. I've certainly seen your name in Private Money Club. Terry, not yet. Craig, not yet. Okay, cool. So these are some things that I would do. Okay, Kenny, your deal is posted in PMC. I'll look for it. So let me show you. If I had a deal right now, and look, here's the thing. I'm not gonna guarantee anything. Congratulations, Craig, on joining 4 years ago. Go find me in Private Money Club and follow me. I'll follow you back. Here's what I'll tell you. For everyone that's got a deal right now, or maybe you already have something posted in PMC, I'll pull it up live so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Locking it up today. Okay, great. As soon as you get that thing locked up, I don't recommend posting deals that you don't have under contract. Someone asked me that last week, so that's good. Lock it up, get it posted. Okay. Um, I'm going to share with you 5 different steps that I would do if I had a deal right now that needed funding. And I'm not going to guarantee that this is going to work out. Just because you do these 5 steps doesn't mean that your deal is going to get funded. Doesn't even mean if you're watching and you're a lender, doesn't mean you should go fund that deal. What I will tell you though is that this is one of the absolute best ways to get eyes on the prize. So if you want people looking at your opportunity, this is how I would do it, right? These are the steps that I would take. Now, whether that gets funded or not, I don't know if it's a good deal. I don't know anything about you, right? But the idea here is to generate interest, right? And if you need help, kind of, what's next after, hey, I've got people messaging me, but I don't know what the heck to do. I do teach a class for Private Money Club called the Accelerator Program. Joseph can recommend it to you. There's links right there. You can hop on a call with him and he can enroll you into something like that where I can help you, right? But these are the 5 steps that I would take. Now, if you don't have a profile yet, go to the link that Joseph Nagasa just put in the chat box. It's go.privatemoneyclub.com/blueprint and schedule a time to speak with him. Or you can go directly to the website privatemoneyclub.com and create your profile. Okay, so number one, create your profile. Every single person on this call should have a Private Money Club profile. Whether it's a free account or one that you pay for, there are some differences. Obviously, the one that you pay for has carries a little bit more weight within the community, but there is an option to create a free account. Go create a free profile and get that thing up and running. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. Number two, I would start posting in Private Money Club. I would post in the forums, and then I would absolutely, if I had a deal, be posting that deal on the website for people to look at. Lenders are hungry for good borrowers and good deals right now inside of Private Money Club. Number three, I would present the opportunity. So outside of just posting on the website, you can present in on a Zoom call with other borrowers and lenders that are looking for deals and looking for opportunities. And that happens every single Monday. Anytime that I've done it personally, it seems as though there's between 75 to 125 people on those calls looking at opportunities. So, and then you got to participate. There's lots of different things that you can do to meet people. Like Chris Naugle calls this the dating site for borrowers and lenders. So like, so you got to meet people. You got to put yourself out there. You got to get off the wall and dance a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's not just going to happen because you post a deal. I believe it happens because of all of these things, right? Deals get funded because they know the people, they recognize the names, they've got the profile, they've got a good deal. There's things within there that lenders like to see and vice versa, right? And then staying active and continuing to do it. So here's what I mean by this, okay? So create your profile, snapshot of mine. If you're in Private Money Club, go say hi. My wife and I share an account. I don't think that's weird. I don't think that's weird. You can go find me, Noah Harris. My wife's name's Christy Duckett Harris. Post your deal. Step two, post if you've got one, go do it. Right? Present the opportunity on Money Club Mondays. By the way, I'm never gonna ask you to do something I'm not willing to do myself. All right. I'm an active. I hate that word. I'm a real estate investor. This is what I do. This is how I make a living. If I have a deal and it's not funded, I try to get on there and do all the same things and post them just like I'm telling you guys to do. I'm a big believer in this platform. Before doing these calls, or let alone teaching a class, I wanted to make sure this community was applicable and good for my business and not a waste of time. So, not to get too deep into the story, but a few years ago, I'm actually friends with Stephen Nagy, the guy there in the picture, who co-owner, co-founder of Private Money Club. He said, "Hey, we're thinking about this, that. We have this thing. It's called the Private Money Club." I was like, "Private Money Club? I've been using private lenders for a long time." He goes, "Yeah, it's really good. This, that, the other." I said, "Let me check it out," and I was blown away. I was blown away. I said, "Yeah, I'll teach the class. I'll teach the class. This is a great little community you got here." Participate. How do you participate? Well, there's different classes, there's courses. Tonight, if you are a premier member of Private Money Club, tonight from 6 to 8, we have a mastermind. It's every third Thursday. That's happening tonight. So if you're on the call, you're a premier member like Craig, I look forward to seeing you at 6 o'clock on the mastermind call with Chris Naugle and the team, right? So there's all different kinds of things that a person can take advantage of and do to get to meet other people, and not just be a name, right? Not just be a name. I think that's important, right? All right, cool. I'll see you there, man. I'll see you there. My wife just got off the call. She teaches something called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. So if you're a weirdo like me and you think that there's a lot of money to be made in mobile and manufactured home investing, you, me, Christy, Warren Buffett, we all seem to think that. Christy teaches a class called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. It's 4 weeks bi-weekly. That's a fun one. She's not halfway through, but 25% the way through. Just wrapped up week one with that course, and she's got another one starting in the new year. I teach a class for PMC called the Accelerator Coaching Program, where if you're on the call and you're like, man, I love this idea. I could see myself using private lenders instead of hard money lenders. I could see myself lending on deals instead of just keeping my money in the savings account or the stock market, or I want to take my IBC policy and the cash value and borrow from myself and lend it out and be my own bank. But I just don't know what the heck to do. That's common. That's a common thing. I see that all the time. That's something that this class can help with, right? So if you're like, man, I don't know who's gonna like think I'm credible enough, I got you covered. These are things that we work on. I'm not really sure what documents, and I don't even know what to look for. I got you covered. We talk about these things. This is a 4 week bi-weekly, twice a week for 4 weeks class with 30 additional days of coaching afterwards. And if you're interested in something like this, you can just click the link, talk to Joseph, shoot him a text message. Joseph Nagasa is a part of the PMC team. He'll probably encourage you to just get on his calendar if you go to the go.privatemoneyclub.com/blueprint link, and then you can click on the calendar there, and then it'll pop up dates and times where you can schedule a time to speak with someone about enrolling in any of those classes or courses, right? So let me show you. Let's just see what's popping in Private Money Club today. I'm gonna pull this up. If you've never been to privatemoneyclub.com, it's a very social media type of platform, but it's all business. It's all real estate, right? It's not, like Facebook. Like this is like something that's actually good for your minds to hang out. Yeah, you can learn a lot of things, right? You can have a good mental health after visiting, as opposed to some of these other social sites. So you can kind of see the vibe. You catch the vibe here. Now, here's what I would do. You got to come in and create a profile. That's step one, right? So you come over here. Let me see. I'll just show you mine. And again, if feel free to connect if you're like, I don't know anybody in PMC. You know me, right? Go find me. All right, cool. So there's the profile. So some things that stand out. So number one, I had a call last night with someone that Mike Vega referred to me and said, "Hey, can you help this guy out? He's got a deal. He's looking for a lender." I said, "Well, let me see what he needs to work on." And he was inside of Private Money Club, but he didn't have a profile. He had a profile, but he didn't have it like filled out. I was like, all right, step one, like you got to look like a person. You can't just be your name, right? Today's day and age, everything's a bot. Everything seems fake. You got to like actually, have a picture of yourself and talk about your goal. What your company is like and your business models and things like this. So, this is me, right? There's the fam. There's the vibe. Now you'll see next to my name, there's a little orange circle there with a white envelope that shows that I'm a premier member. This little badge here shows that I've taken some additional classes within Private Money Club. So as a Premier member, you can take two. Is it small? Try to expand. Last thing I want to do is have to see my big head on the screen and not what I'm actually trying to show you. Okay, cool. So here we go. So they got the envelope, right? Premier member Linda, you're gonna want one of these. Now inside of PMC, you have some courses that you can take for free to get these badges. So if you have any questions about it, Joseph can certainly help you find those classes. But that's a good one to take, and it helps your profile stand out. Okay, you'll see what I mean here in a minute. Now, inside of your profile, it has this section for photos. I use this space here as like billboard space for my company. That's kind of what we do. And I've seen other people put videos here and do some cool stuff with it. This is a picture of my team. My wife's on the right there. Our real estate agent, La Rosa, one of our partners, Erica, in the middle there. Past projects. This is a picture from my slide deck. This is actually a picture of a manufactured house because lots of times people are like mobile homes, manufactured homes, and they're kind of blown away when they see. But it's just examples of our work and some of the things that we've done in the past. Now, when you go to fill out the bio section here, if you have a current job, current career, I would talk about that. I think there's a ton of value in understanding who people are and what they do for a living and how those same skill sets transition right over into real estate. So I kind of craft my profile with that thought process in mind. But I'm a big believer that in your profile, you should put examples of like what it looks like to work with you. What are your current buy boxes and price points, things like this, right? So, and then how do you keep lenders safe? Like, what are some of the things that you do for your lenders, right? Do you provide them with a mortgage, promissory note, right? What do what steps do you take? Have fun with it. I wouldn't just put like I'm a lender or I'm a borrower, right? You got to think of it like, and this is facts. So when I post a deal on Private Money Club, I'll usually get multiple people that want to learn more about it. And when that happens, the first thing that I do is I click on their profiles. I click on their profiles and I see, okay, who is this person if I don't know them? If their profile isn't filled out, if they haven't taken 30 minutes to do it, they're automatically out. I'm like, I don't, is this a real person? I don't trust that person, right? So take some time, put some thought into it, right? That's step one, your profile. Everyone on here should have a profile if you're serious about real estate investing and using private lenders. Why wouldn't you? Now the deal section here is really beautiful. So if you're a lender, this could be an opportunity like every single week, hop on here and see what's new, see what's different, right? One of the deals on here I wanted to highlight, I'll just show you. It's pretty cool. I'm going to show you this one here, this 12% first position. But if you had a deal, you come over to post a deal and you type in the address. It takes you through these prompts. And in less than 2 minutes, you can have your deal posted on Private Money Club. Pretty cool. I really like this one here. I'm gonna click on this one. And David, if you're watching, Jeffrey was in the same class as us. I don't know. Do you remember Jeff? I'm pretty sure he was. This guy is took my accelerator course, so I know a little bit more about him. And it was just cool to see him take the class, and now he's implementing what he's learning. And he's a real estate investor, but I believe he's also an engineer, has some other job as well. But he's on his like third, fourth, or fifth number of flips, and he's getting the ball rolling. Smart guy. Anyways, so he's got pictures of his property here. He's offering 12% in a first position note, right? Which you gotta like. And then it has a description here. It's on 1.5 acres, no HOA, 10 minutes to downtown, but so on and so forth. So it's got the loan amount, the interest that he's paying, some of the numbers and things like this, right? You can click on the map and it'll take you, okay, yep, the house actually is there. It does exist. Okay, I like that, right? If you are interested in learning more, you can come over and click I'm interested. Hey, Jeffrey, I'm interested in your deal, right? Boom, and send it over to him. And then what I like about this here too is you can attach documents and he has his lender presentation here. So I don't even know. Let's see if I can pull this up. Cool. So he's got details about it. He's got his comparable sales. He's got a little report about his numbers, right? This is what we're looking for. Okay, like this shows how someone is prepared. If I was like, okay, is Jeff and Lynette, are they real? Is this a real person? I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna click on their profile, right? I'm reading up on them. I'm like, okay, this is adding up. I like it. I like it. Took the certified borrower course through PMC, right? Now, am I telling you to fund Jeff Steele? Absolutely not. But if you're on the call right now and you are looking for a nice double-digit annualized interest rate and you've got $245,000 to work with and you're interested in private money lending, this might be a conversation, right? Learn more about Jeff. Now you got to ask him the questions. Hey, Jeff, tell me about your business. Why did you pick Conway, South Carolina? What was it about this house that you really liked? Tell me about your team, right? Do you have a contractor picked out? Do you have a real estate agent picked out? Right? Do you have a real estate attorney that you're working with? The house is in escrow right now. Can you tell me a little bit about your team? Right? And you're interviewing them to see if it might be a good fit. Right? Good example. Pretty good example. Right? Great job, Jeff. I love it, man. I love it. Inside of PMC, if you're like, man, no, I don't have any resources, they've got lots of different things that you can use, tools that you can use, templates that you can use to create PowerPoint slides to help explain who you are and things like this. If you're interested in taking classes, they have a plethora of different classes and different things like that that you can take and study and do. And if you're brand new to PMC and you don't know anyone yet, you're like, man, I don't know anyone know it. I would hop in the members section and just start connecting with people and start to get to know folks. And you can search by, if they are a lender, right? You can search if they are a lender and maybe they're doing wholesale deals or interested in wholesale deals or whatever the case might be, right? So there's different queries that you can narrow it down to. But you can tell too, by the way, guys, like, if you look at like William's profile here, right? Like this is standing out. He's a premier member. He's taken the time to take some of the free classes that PMC offers, right? He's in Hawaii, it looks like, so you probably want to become friends with him. Hello, what's up, William? I'd love to do one of your deals in Hawaii. That sounds amazing, right? So you guys can, get the vibe. You get what I'm getting at here. Events and things like this. Like I said, tonight, I wasn't just making it up. Tonight, 6 o'clock. Today's the 20th, right? Yep. We've got our November, we've got our November mastermind, right? 2 hour mastermind that's going on tonight. So if you are a member of PMC, maybe you're not a member of PMC yet, but you're like, that sounds cool. I want to be on that call with Chris Naugle and mastermind with 50, 60 other private money club members, maybe even share my deal that I got going on, or just hear what other people got going on, then I would connect with Joseph right now and say, hey, I want to become a premier member so I can be on this call, right? Connect with him and there's the link right there, right? Anyways, cool. So good stuff. Any questions on PMC? If you have any questions for me, you can type them in the Q&A section. If it's like an enrollment class or a question about enrolling in a class or something like that, Joseph can definitely help you out because it's hard for me to keep track. How was the PMC Money Talk Tank Conference in Orlando earlier this month? It was awesome. Yeah, it was cool. I had a great time. I had a great time at Money Tank. Were you guys at Money Tank? I know a lot of you were, but it was pretty cool. I had a good time. All right, let's talk elevator pitches. All right, back to the slides. Right, so that's what's popping in PMC. Call tonight. Make sure that you're on it. All right, just gonna cover some elevator pitch fundamentals since we got Thanksgiving Day coming up. You might see that independently wealthy uncle or aunt. You know what? I shouldn't say that. I've worked with family members. Now, I didn't start out with family. I think that's the secret too, by the way. I don't think you start with the family. I think you get like 10 or 12 deals under your belt and you keep the family away. What's going to happen is once people start realizing that, hey, you're doing a thing, they start listening in a little bit, and you can have some fun with it. I do this all the time, but as I'm teaching people, I shouldn't. Okay, I'm backing up like 4 times. I said teaching people because I believe that's what you're doing. As you're talking to family members or friends or parents at your kids' sporting events, people you just run into, Lots of times, people, when you don't see people for a while or it's the first time you're meeting them, it's usually goes something like, "Hey, what's your name? How you doing? What do you do for a living? So tell me about yourself," right? Usually the what you do for a living is like number three or four type of question that gets asked. And when people are asking about these types of things, that's a great time for you to practice your elevator pitch. So if you do see family or friends over the holidays you haven't seen in a minute. Hey, what are you doing these days? "Well, I'm doing real estate." "You're doing real estate?" "Yeah, you ever seen the TV show where like people flip houses? You ever seen?" "Yeah, of course. I do that." "I've always wanted to do that." "Really? What's been stopping you?" "Well, it's usually I've always wanted to do it, but I don't know how. I'm not a millionaire, right? I don't have the time. I'm busy being a dentist. I'm busy with my practice. I'm busy with, being a mom and taking the kids all over town or whatever it is." Well, what if you didn't have to know everything about construction? What if you didn't have to have $1 million? Because here's the deal. Like, instead of going to banks, right, I use people to fund my real estate deals. People just like you. "What do you mean?" Just like a bank, right? We provide them with a mortgage, a promissory note. We list them on the insurance, right? We do all, personal guarantees, all the same stuff, right? And we pay them a great rate of return. Instead of going to a bank, we work with people, but we do things just like a bank would. "What do you pay them?" "This sounds fantastic." "What do you mean? What kind of interest rates?" "Well, each loan opportunity is unique. It's between 8 to 10%, sometimes upwards of 12 or 14, just depends." You just ruined that person's Thanksgiving. You just ruin if you can get the foot before you sit down and cut the turkey. If you can get someone thinking about 10, 12, 13, 14%, they're not thinking about anything else the rest of the day, right? And Craig says family is an option, but it's a last resort. Yeah, it's interesting for the longest time. So like my wife grew up on a farm. Her dad's a farmer, right? And he's got more money than anybody knows what to do with, than he knows what to do with. But he saves it in the freezer, doesn't want to spend it. That mentality, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And, put it in a CD, something simple, something safe, savings account, right? 2% return. He's happy, whatever, right? Well, we've been doing real estate for years and years. And then overheard one day us talking about paying someone 10%. And he was like, "I wish somebody would pay me 10%." And I never forget, my wife said, "Well, I would pay you 10%." He said, "Well, how does this work?" Right? You almost, and we didn't even have a deal. Be like, "Look, we don't have a deal. You got to kind of take it away. We don't have a deal. If are you really interested? Are you serious? Yeah, I want to know about this. I'm making 2% in the bank. 2%. Wow, 10%. You guys see what I'm doing here, right?" And he funded one of our deals. He's not a regular because I'd prefer we prefer to go outside of family, but he wanted it, right? I can remember another family member not recently when we first got started. I was teaching people what we were doing in like my friends and family were there. It was around the holidays. And like, "What have you been up to? Like, how are you buying these houses? How do you fund these deals?" "We use people." "What do you mean people?" People that don't want to make 2% in the savings account. People that have money in old 401(k)s from past employers. Like, there's lots of different examples. What's the minimum? Well, we don't really have a minimum, but like, here's what a deal looks like with us. We buy houses for 100, we put 50 into them. A person's $150,000 loan is then secured by a house that's worth 250, just like a bank would want. Mortgage, prom note, personal guarantee, right? Everything's secured. What do you pay? Well, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12%. Each loan opportunity is unique, sometimes 14%. 14%, done, done. You just ruined their Thanksgiving. Actually, you ruin their spouse's Thanksgiving because they're not talking to anybody else anymore the rest of the day. They're just thinking about their heads going home. They're going home. Their heads hitting the pillow, and they're thinking about the 12%, right? If you can deliver, right? If you can deliver. So the big thing here, guys, I just kind of went off on a tangent, but the big thing here is, these loans are secured by real estate. So what is a private money loan? So like as you start having these conversations with people they don't know what a private loan is, private money loan. They don't know that a person can do this, right? They're used to banks doing this. So one of the best ways to kind of help them connect the dots is by letting them know, "Hey, let me teach you something. Like you have a mortgage on your house, right?" "Yeah, yeah, I do." "Okay, great. When you got that, that house and you bought your house, you got a mortgage and you signed a stack of papers that were like this thick, right? You have a mortgage, you signed a contract to pay them back, you got insurance on the property before closing, correct. And they're like, yeah, we do the same exact thing. So instead of us going to the bank, we would just go to you, but we would do all the same stuff that the bank would want. Does that make sense? And then you'd be like, oh yeah, that's actually that does make sense, right? It really helps people connect the dots. So that's a good way of doing it, right? Cost of money is put in, yeah, it's part of the deal. Absolutely, it's part of the deal. Show me the money. Yeah, so you got to figure out what you're gonna pay. Now, you'll see people on Private Money Club, or you'll have conversations with people that are like, "Hey, we pay this much." I don't like to necessarily say this is how much I pay. I like to do a range, right? You just heard me say that a couple times, right? So in my elevator pitch, as I'm explaining things to people, I always provide a range because each loan opportunity is unique. Each situation is unique, right? So in my house flipping business, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. If there's a time where I can pay more, I'll pay more. If it's a skinnier deal, I'm not gonna try to make the numbers work. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna present the opportunity at an 8 to 10%, right? So each loan opportunity is unique. Now there is something called this optimism bias that people have. And when you tell them 8 to 12, their minds automatically go to 12%, right? So they're thinking 12%. But you can negotiate down. There's lots of things I teach in the accelerator class that help negotiate rates down for borrowers and help negotiate rates up for lenders as well, right? Some of the documents, right? I would call these like the core four, right? So, lots of times when you are talking paying interest rates that are much higher than what people are used to hearing, there's going to be skepticism, right? Rightfully so. I get skeptical when I hear people saying 20%, 25%. That to me, that's like, whoa, that's way too high. So lots of times what you got to do, what I do after introducing interest rates, because I can see their minds are racing and they're like, wow, is this legit? Is this a real thing? Like I can really do this? That's when I would bring up the paperwork. Now, who's the paperwork drafted by? Not you, not me, right? Licensed business professionals. So whether you use a real estate attorney for your closings, title companies, right? They're the ones that are coordinating all of this stuff, right? So as a lender, it's your responsibility for the documents that the borrower is going to sign, right? Lots of times the borrower will introduce the lender to real estate attorneys that they work with. Maybe it's the same real estate attorney and or title company that's conducting the closing and doing the title searches and things like this to help them draft these documents. But just like a bank would want, we're going to sign a promissory note. We're going to sign a mortgage. It's going to be a loan to my LLC. So I'm also going to provide them with a personal guarantee as well. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to get insurance on the property and list them as additionally insured, just like a bank would want. Now, this isn't everything. Okay. So remember, we're in the elevator. So we're taking this in chunks and creating intrigue. And remember, the goal of the elevator pitch, guys, and this is really good. Like if you're talking to someone at Thanksgiving time and you're watching the Dallas Cowboys or the Detroit Lions and you're talking business while you're watching the football game and eating a turkey leg, you're not going to ask the person right then and there to get out their checkbook. I don't care how impressed they are, how much they want to be involved. That's not how it works. The elevator pitch is only there to generate interest to set up a meeting, right? So you're going to want to have some time where you can talk over the phone, over a Zoom call, in person, where you're explaining about the deal, you're explaining about your company, you're explaining about your buying criteria. They're getting to know your business a little bit better. So keep that in mind. Anytime I've seen someone just try to always ask for the money, the money, the money, if you make it too much about the money and not the relationship, then you're probably going to fall short. Okay, so just some advice there from what I've seen and what I've experienced. So, was this good stuff? Is this a good warm up? So I don't think we'll have a call next Thursday, but I do want to hear if you got any money. I do want to hear how your Thanksgiving dinners went. But this is the quick start webinar. This is all about getting going. Okay, it's not about immediate results or taking it too slow, right? So here's the deal. Here's some steps that a person can do if you're like, hey, what do I do next? This webinar was fun, right? I could see myself hopping on every Thursday and talking private money. That's great. Get on the next call. I'll see you in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, I would create your PMC profile, right? Create your PMC profile, get in Private Money Club, and schedule a blueprint call. Sometimes people don't really know what they need to be working on, what they should be doing. That's where Joseph and the team, they can guide you through that process, help you get up and running, right? Make sure you got everything that you need. Inside of Private Money Club, there's a couple classes that you can take with a premier membership. Those are called PMC certification courses that help get your badges next to your name to help your profile stand out. That'd be something cool to knock out over the holidays, right? If you are interested in accelerating your growth, collapsing timeframes, getting this stuff inside your brain and in your business as quick as possible, I teach a class called the Accelerator course. We limit it to 20 people. Reason being is, I coach afterwards. So it's 4 weeks, twice a week, starting January 5th. And then the following 4 weeks, if you would like help implementing these things that you're learning into your everyday business, I'm there for some one-on-one coaching. So I don't want to overpromise and have too many people messaging me. That doesn't do anybody good. So I do try to limit it to around 20 people. If you're interested in learning about mobile and manufactured homes, my wife Christy teaches a class. I believe the next one's in coming up in 2026, and Joseph and the team can help you out with that. We just got back from a Money Tank event, and that was down in Orlando, Florida. So PMC has these flagship events, virtual and in person. And I don't have the dates for the next one, but keep an eye out. If you do have an opportunity to attend a live event, that's it's awesome. The Zoom calls are fun. Talking like this is fun. Masterminds like we have tonight at 6 are fun, but the in-person can't be beat, right? All right, guys, this has been fun. The bus is almost here. Kids are getting off. I gotta run, but happy holidays. I will see you, I guess, in 2 weeks. I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, take care, everybody. Take care, everybody. Find me on PMC and we can connect there too. All right, take care. All right, bye.